Story 1. I have no friends and feel very lonely. I am desperate for connection. Story 2. The fast approaching moment when I will have to help my dog across the rainbow bridge. Story 3. Executive dysfunction. I know what needs to be done. It is not even time-consuming or difficult, but I just cannot get the motivation to do it. Story 4. My job leaves no time for a life and pays just enough to cover the bills. I feel like I am trading my life for permission to live. Story 5. Unfortunately, debt is common. If I could go back in time and give one piece of advice to anyone entering adulthood, it would be to never buy anything you cannot afford to pay for in full. Never finance a car. Do not set up payment plans. You either can afford it or you cannot. Story 6. Intravenous cocaine. The decisions I am currently making are nonsensical. I have been awake for 3 days, and in that time I have injected 9 grams of cocaine into my veins, which has caused convulsions, chest pain, and a range of other concerning symptoms. I am experiencing visual hallucinations, and I feel as though bugs are crawling under my skin. So far I have resisted the urge to scratch. My bed sheets are stained with blood, and there is blood splatter on the wall from when I desperately tried to access the contents of a syringe. I can barely focus on writing this because I am so fixated on my next shot. The sad thing is this was all my own doing. What began as a bit of fun on weekends with my boyfriend has turned into a daily hell of shooting poison into scarred, painful veins. I honestly do not know what state I will be in next month or even tomorrow. Story 7. I'm not ugly, but my birthmark makes me feel that way. I feel hopeless. Story 8. My dog is very sick and has only a few months left to live. He has lived much longer than we expected, but it is still very tough. Story 9. I experience social anxiety and daily feelings of depression and being an outcast. I wonder why I was born instead of being able to do something meaningful with my life. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. If you are thinking about harming yourself or feel unsafe, please call emergency services now. In the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency number or local crisis line. Are you thinking about harming yourself, or do you have a plan right now? If not, consider telling someone you trust or contacting a mental health professional. I can help find local crisis numbers or other support if you want. Story 10. My anxiety disorder fully developed because of work. Story 11. Depression and my post-traumatic stress disorder are acting up, so I'm struggling with college and work. Story 12. I am unable to make up my mind about major decisions. Should I go back to school, keep my current job, go on a date with this woman, or stay single because I do not think it will go anywhere and I do not want to waste her time? Story 13. My alphabet soup of mental illnesses and the medications, or lack thereof, needed to treat them. Story 14. I have incurable health issues that have left me isolated and unable to work, and I am drowning in non-stop suicidal thoughts. I am sorry you are feeling this way. Are you thinking about harming yourself right now? If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call 988 or dial 911, or text home to 741741 to reach a crisis counselor. In the United Kingdom or Ireland, call Samaritans at 116 123. In Canada, call Crisis Services Canada at 1-833-456-4566 or text 45645. In Australia, call Lifeline at 13 11 14. If you are elsewhere, please look up local crisis resources or emergency services. If you can, reach out to a trusted person and tell them what is happening. If you would like, I can help you make a brief safety plan now. Story 15. I would not say ruined, but being unemployed slows things down a lot. Story 16. Fear. I am fucking scared all the time. Everywhere I turn I see my abusive ex. If a bald white man comes into view, I can't breathe. I swear I can feel every bone he broke every time I walk outside. They throb and I panic. I can't get a job like this. Thank God I have my Veterans Affairs benefits or I would be homeless. I can't exactly be the happy, attractive bartender if a bald customer walks in and I start crying. It's been 5 months. I am in therapy. I smoke marijuana. It helps. I am reading books about abuse, how to process it, and how to prevent it from happening again. The gift of fear is amazing so far. I am learning about narcissism and how to spot it. I am sober from the drugs he pushed on me for months. I am doing everything I am supposed to be doing, and I am still scared all the time. I am a combat veteran. God damn it. Why was everything he did to me so much worse? When will I ever feel safe again? I am tired of being scared. I feel like I will die in the prison my mental health and he have put me in. I am not suicidal. It just feels like this is going to kill me, probably because I am terrified all the time. Story 17. I feel lost. I consider myself a very conscious person and I am in touch with my emotions. I thought I would follow whatever plan I had in mind, but I am 22 and I do not know what I am supposed to do in life. I want to take a vacation, take a gap year, study 2 careers, or move and live with elephants. I am in a long-term relationship. I might want a family one day and to live with him, yet I also want to experience everything in the world. Story 18. Where do I start? I am probably my own biggest enemy. I feel unmotivated, lazy, and I am barely getting through each day. Story 19. My life and professional decisions repeatedly do not turn out the way I thought. Story 20. Financial hardship and, more importantly, depression have been debilitating. Being a stay-at-home mom for 15 months has worsened my mental health, since I already struggle with severe depression and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Story 21. Not enough money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not completely broke. I just wish I had more than $100 to my name every month. I'm not asking to be rich, just enough so that if I want fast food 3 times a week, I can do it. Story 22. I am currently in remission, but the periodic computed tomography scans cause me severe anxiety. I cannot live a normal life. Story 23. The constant, crushing anxiety that rent keeps rising and that no amount of honest work seems to keep pace with the cost of living makes long-term planning an absolute joke. Story 24. I have mental health issues. I do not even care about living life anymore. I am not depressed or suicidal either. I am just done and trying to enjoy the things I still can and minimize suffering until I die. Society encourages people to talk to someone and get help, but I do not think I have ever heard anyone say that it is fine and understandable to just give up and opt out. I do not see anything wrong with it. I feel like saying fuck life lately. Animals are not very different either. When they go through enough, they may wander off into the woods to be alone. I understand why people get help when they feel this way, but I think it is strange that people assume getting help is best for everyone. Story 25. I do not have enough time in the day, and my sleep schedule is all over the place. Story 26. The cost of living, especially rent, is rising. These rent increases are not normal. It is time to index rents by location and cap them, ban Airbnb, and introduce laws preventing owners from leaving houses unoccupied for more than 1 year. Story 27. I have chronic sleep deprivation. I always wake between 2 and 4 a.m. and find it hard to fall back asleep. Story 28. A secretly recorded sex tape that people use to bully me. Story 29. My job does not pay enough for me to have a life. I just work and spend all my money on rent, groceries, and bills. Story 30. I am overworked. I cannot find a better job that pays the same or more. I have no financial freedom. Story 31. I am unemployed, have low self-esteem, and am experiencing excessive stress from university. Story 32. I am listed as the administrator in Apple School Manager, but it is not me. Someone has stolen my identity and created a digital identification. I do not know anything about it. I am being restricted as if I were my 14-year-old daughter, and I believe this is intended to keep me restricted as a child. Story 33. Maybe not ruining, but this year I have experienced a very irritating and depressing combination. I received good raises and a higher salary at work, yet many unfortunate events occurred. I did not want to imagine having to sell my belongings to get by while in debt. Story 34. Crippling depression. I've got nothing to live for. No one cares about me. I've been inside my house for 2 years now. I'm really sorry you are feeling so alone and depressed. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, call emergency services immediately, for example 911 in the United States. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. In the United Kingdom, Samaritans, 116 123. In Australia, Lifeline 13 11 14. If you are elsewhere, tell me your country and I will help find local crisis numbers. If possible, please reach out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. I can help you find support now. Story 35. My personal computer will not let me use JWE3 and instead displays a bunch of videos about it. Story 36. I deal with anxiety, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, family rejection, and lack of cash flow. On the brighter side, I am working on my own business. I have an amazing partner, and I love the peace of my alone time. Story 37. Right now, I have two problems at once. My throat has hurt every time I speak since April, and I have not been able to walk by myself since September. I avoid talking when my throat hurts. It is now October, so this is a serious issue. I cannot walk anywhere without someone literally holding on to me, because otherwise I get dizzy and may fall. Story 38. I am stuck with someone who is awkward to be around at work. Story 39. Uncertainty. This is happening in my job, my relationship, and my family. I'm exhausted. I just want everything to be okay for once. Story 40. People are unable to see or care about others' character, and there are communication problems. They do not talk. They just ghost and do not value those who care. They are only users and losers. Humans have been abusive to me for years, except for a small circle who have remained loyal and moral, appreciating and returning my care. Story 41. I have lost the past year or more of my life because of it, and I'm about to lose my job and my girlfriend as well. Story 42. The feeling of not being a good enough mother to my children. Story 43. I have kidney stones. I never imagined it would be possible to be in so much pain. I am tired of feeling uncomfortable all the time and of taking pain medication without knowing how bad the pain will become. It is a miserable experience. Story 44. All that capitalist stuff, working, paying rent, and living paycheck to paycheck until I am too old to be profitable. Story 45. My grandpa, who meant everything to me, passed exactly 3 weeks ago today. I feel like a shell of who I used to be. Story 46. My unemployed 34-year-old brother is draining our parents' retirement savings, and he does not seem to care. Our parents are enabling him, and he is rapidly becoming unemployable. I see it as almost inevitable that one day I will be forced to decide between supporting him myself or allowing him to become homeless. It is a grim decision, and it leaves me with a sense of impending doom. There is also the issue of his health. He is morbidly obese and refuses to take better care of himself. I will almost certainly outlive him, and I know that on some level I will resent our parents for burdening me with this. Story 47. I play video games so much that I neglect other social activities. It does not feel like a problem because I enjoy gaming, but sometimes I feel I am missing out on a lot of the fun you can have in your 20s. Story 48. I took on too large a car loan with negative equity. The monthly payment is too much, and I have had a terrible time keeping up. Although the car is a 2021, it has 240,000 miles. I basically cannot stop working for the next, I would say, 2 more years if I really push it. Right now, I am 1 payment behind and need to fix some ball joints. I am trying to get on top of the payment first and then order parts to fix it myself to save money. I have learned a lot from this. I am currently applying to higher paying jobs. For the first time in 15+ years, I want to stop smoking cannabis. I do not spend much on it anymore, but it has held me back from multiple job opportunities. Story 49. My inability to pick up on social cues causes me to lose friends as quickly as I make them. Story 50. Being alone is taking its toll. Money is becoming a problem as everything is getting more expensive. And I have a dead-end job. Looking for a new one is depressing in itself. Laughing my ass off. Story 51. A homeowners association is threatening to sue my mother. She is considering declaring bankruptcy to pay them. Do not buy a condominium. Story 52. I am living in a state of misery and poverty. I survive in one of the most expensive areas in Brazil, and it is really hard. I pay almost half of my low salary for a single room. I live far from the university, work 8 to 5, and study a lot. In 1 month, I will take a public service exam to work for the government as a teacher, and this could change my life if I pass. My current job is terrible. From Monday to Friday, I only go home to sleep 6 hours before restarting the cycle. Yesterday, I had an argument with my girlfriend about all of this and about not having enough money to buy a laptop to study at her house on weekends. I study 6 to 8 hours on weekends, and I also have to prepare my lunch for the week and freeze it. Story 53. Depression. I recently went to rehab for alcohol. I'm a few months sober, unemployed, and trying to deal with 20 years of regret. I have no crutch now, and being sober didn't magically fix everything. It sounds dumb, but alcohol was the reason I kept going each day, and now I don't have that, so I struggle to find a reason to exist. I have many reasons, but my brain is working against me right now. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. If you might harm yourself, contact emergency services now, for example, 911 in the United States, or go to the nearest emergency room. If you're in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Consider reaching out to a trusted person, your treatment provider, or a support group. I can help you find local resources, coping strategies, or make a safety plan if you'd like. Story 54. American politics and loneliness. I have friends and family, but I don't know why I feel lonely at times. I long for a meaningful connection with someone. Story 55. My husband snores and produces a strong, tear-inducing odor from his rear every night, so I can't sleep. Story 56. That constant feeling that I'm always behind on something, even when I'm technically not. Story 57. I am a people pleaser. My academic career is suffering because I am putting too much pressure on myself. Story 58. The government is at fault in too many ways. In my personal life, it is a guy who is sexually harassing my friends and me at school. The school obtained a restraining order, but he is not following it. I am scared he might try to shift the blame to me because he is a freshman and I am a senior. Story 59. Not knowing what's next drives me insane. I feel like I'm on a time clock and I'm moving too slowly. Story 60. I dread that the American people elected an incompetent leader who is pushing the economy toward a crash. I will most likely lose my job and my health insurance. My life, along with many others, could be destroyed by a leader who convinced many people he knew what he was doing. Story 61. I am neurodivergent and have been affected since birth. I used to doom scroll on TikTok, but now do it on Reddit. Story 62. I have not seen the sun in 3 weeks. It sucks to live in a country where the sun is a luxury. Story 63. Nearly everything. My job is very difficult right now. My family has been on edge since my father passed away, and I feel like I will burn out soon. Story 64. Chasing dopamine through addiction leads to problems such as excessive hoarding and overeating. Now I am stuck with too many things in my house and extra weight that I want to get rid of. Story 65. I can't find a job, good or bad. Sometimes employers do not even reply. At least a rejection is better than no response. Story 66. The job market is very difficult here. Finding a job means you must either send hundreds, if not thousands, of applications or have connections. Sweden has one of the highest unemployment rates in Europe, and it is extremely depressing. Story 67. I don't see the point in doing or creating anything anymore. I think the best part of my life is now behind me. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. Are you thinking about harming yourself? If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis hotline. Would you like to talk more about what is making you feel this way? Story 68. You know what? Nothing. For once, I feel like my life rocks. Story 69. I am an ex-Muslim living in a Muslim country that I despise, and Western countries seem increasingly fed up with immigration. I belong nowhere. Story 70. My mom has stage 4 cancer. I am depressed. I have gained weight and feel too embarrassed to meet up with friends. I hate my job. I feel directionless in life. Story 71. My dependence on drugs and alcohol just to get through the day began after I lost my livelihood 3 years ago due to a stroke. I am not even 30. Story 72. I have money problems, but I am pretty sure that is true for most people. Who am I to complain? Story 73. Someone stole my identity, created multiple fraudulent credit cards, and withdrew $28,000. The police have not contacted me. Credit unions have been unhelpful. The banks that issued the fraudulent cards do not believe me. I have to handle this myself. Story 74. I have a strong lack of willingness to do anything. It is not depression. I can feel emotions. I cannot make myself learn anything. Everything seems boring, even games and the internet. Story 75. I have anxiety and traumatic memories. I get up every day despite that and put myself out there. I meet friends when I can, and I work 40 hours a week. It is tough going, but I am not giving up. Story 76. The stress of having to work 50 to 60 hours a week just to provide for my family and survive. Story 77. I have legal status in another country. I might have to go back, or my mother might have to go instead. Story 78. Your life is not being ruined. You have internet access, which places you among the wealthiest 1% in the world. Furthermore, you are so well fed and comfortable that you have free time on your hands, which is obvious since you are browsing Reddit. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.